Mr Speaker, I do wish you a very restful summer break, and I actually have not yet had the opportunity to congratulate you on your elevation to the role of Speaker.
Well, take your time.
Well, I've got 9 minutes and 34 on the clock, so I'll give it a go. I would like to say that it might not be the job that you most wanted, but it does seem to be the job that you were really born into. So if the last few weeks have shown us anything, it is that you're going to be a terrific Speaker, and we're looking forward to working with you over the course of the coming 3 years, as we continue to hold the coalition of chaos to account. For a group of parties that spent the election campaign trying to terrify New Zealanders what a kind of a three-headed demon of a government might look like. They're doing a pretty good job of illustrating exactly what it was that they were warning us all about, what might happen. I have to say that it's tempting to focus on the leaked cabinet papers that started appearing largely before the ink was even dry, or the classic moment when the Honourable Shane Jones waited until the Prime Minister and the Climate Change Minister were out of the country so that he could put nature on notice that he was going to dig it all up and burn it and do whatever the hell else he wanted, as long as there was a buck in it. That was the policy of this government. And of course, without the right of reply of the actual Prime Minister at the time. I would have thought also, of course, that the Prime Minister, who used to run an airline, would have been in a clearer position about how he was going to fly to Australia. But there we go. The games of truth or dare that are currently playing out in the Cabinet room really are something to behold. I do want to acknowledge the former Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Chris Hipkins, for his service to the country as Prime Minister over the course of what has been a challenging year. And I do want to acknowledge what a remarkable year it has been, and in fact the last several years have been. 330,000 people trusted the Green Party enough with their votes this year, and I want to thank every single one of them, as well as 8,000 volunteers who were the lifeblood of our campaign. I have not yet had an opportunity to put that on the record since the election, that the support that they have shown us has elected the largest Green caucus ever in our history, and we still carry their hopes for a better Aotearoa into this House every single day. Our constituents, the New Zealanders that we are here to represent, do deserve a government that puts its best foot forward for the interests of everybody in this country, not just a few, not just those who have inherited their position. And they deserve an opposition that rises to that with constructive and also honest challenges. And that is the role that we intend to take. The things that we fought the campaign on are as relevant now as they were before the election. Warm, dry, affordable homes for everyone in this country. Rivers that are clean enough to swim in for everybody in this country. Wages that are enough for life's essentials, and a decent celebration with friends and whānau over the holidays. The hope for a safe climate for their children and for their grandchildren, First Deputy Prime Minister. Mr Speaker, at the beginning of this year, and the former Prime Minister acknowledged this, at the beginning of this year, Parliament opened when there were two regions in the country that were in a national state of emergency, and half the regions of the country were in a regional state of emergency. Cyclone Gabrielle and the Auckland Anniversary Day floods brought the reality of climate change into our homes and into our doorsteps, in fact over the thresholds of our doorsteps and into the homes of many thousands of New Zealanders. And in response to those crises, communities stepped up. Neighbours helped neighbours. Marae opened their doors once again to provide food and shelter for everybody who was affected. And now I want to acknowledge that there are still thousands of people in this country who are displaced from their homes as a result of those. It should not take the worst of times to bring out the best in us, and yet, in those worst of times, the best of us is is demonstrated time and time again. There were two parties that used the word back or backwards in the election campaign, and we can certainly see how that's playing out now that they're in government, where the more backwards component is clearly steering the waka on this occasion. Communities know that when people have enough to get by, everyone does better. That's what we know. When everybody has enough to get by, we all do well. The fact that we have created a society over the course of the last few decades which favours a few over the many, that is not a sustainable route for a society to go down. And the Green Party will continue to work towards a better New Zealand for all of us. Aotearoa, we believe, will get better despite rather than because of this government. And in this House, we will do everything that we can to hold this government to account day in and day out, even when they want to go home early for Christmas, despite the fact that it was because of their bills that they put on the order paper. I live here, buddy. So I'll tell you what, if you want to moan about the fact that it's taking a little bit of time for the House to get through your business that you put on the order paper and tried to jam through under urgency, then Merry Christmas to you, because that's your problem to solve, not mine. When they backtrack on policies that are designed to tackle climate pollution, we will speak out. The Green Party of Aotearoa will speak out. When they raid the Climate Emergency Response Fund, whilst squeezing social support for those who need it the most, we will hold them to account. For a government that campaigned primarily on reducing the cost of living, they haven't yet done a single thing over the course of this government that will actually help to reduce the cost of living. If anything, they've made things more expensive, more precarious for the New Zealanders who need that support the most. They have overturned the basic protections for working people. They've signalled that next year the cost of public transport is going to go up, child support is going to go up. All of those things that actually New Zealanders depend on are going to become more expensive as a result. And I do want to acknowledge that the people who are feeling anxious, therefore, about the direction, the people who actually wanted a plan to make their wages go further, to keep their rents lower, instead got a gift-wrapped carton of cigarettes from the Marlborough Man. So, Mr. Speaker, amongst the people, I mean, they have been acknowledged as well, and I do want to add the Green Party's voice to this. As this year comes to a close, I do want to acknowledge on our behalf the people who make this place tick, the library researchers, the security guards, cleaners, the Copperfields team, drivers, the maintenance team, the travel team, IST, messengers, chamber staff, the House Office, the Office of the Clerk, the finance, payroll, HR, all of those people who make this place tick, and many of whom are in a more precarious position at the end of this year than they were at the beginning of this year. And I do want to acknowledge that those people, I want to thank them for their service, as we always do, and to acknowledge any anxiety that they may be feeling going into this Christmas period. I do also want to acknowledge the Press Gallery and the work that they do to hold all of us to account and to the standards that we ought to observe. From Marama and myself, from our larger-than-ever Green Party caucus, we do wish you all a very restful Christmas. And I do want to acknowledge the Green Party team that support us every day. To our colleagues in the House, please do have a good break. We're working alongside you next year as we try to work on behalf of all New Zealanders here in the green city of Pōneke next year. Merry Christmas.